Hey guys, Troubletcat here recording for the Zombie Arcade. This is going to be another Counter-Strike Source live commentary. Today we're going to be taking a look at the other game type, not DE, the other sort of main game type. There's also a lot of mods, and I mean, in Counter-Strike 1.6 there was also a VIP game type, but that is not in Counter-Strike Source. Anyway, we're going to be taking a look at the other game type, CS, which, I mean, just stands for Counter-Strike, I guess, but basically, the game type is hostage rescue. Here's a good server. So, the terrorists there are 4 hostages on the map that start basically in the terrorist spawn zone, and the terrorists win if they kill all the CTs, or if the time limit expires without the counter-terrorists rescuing the hostages. Looks like I'm going to be on the counter-terrorist force, so my objective is either to rescue all 4 hostages before the time runs out, or to kill all the terrorists. And so it's a very, very straightforward game type. But there were a few other things I wanted to talk about in this video. I want to play the SAS character. First of all, I'm thinking Counter-Strike is going to be kind of a hard thing for me to do. I tried to do this non-live, but I mean, honestly, I'm far from an amazing Counter-Strike player. I can often go, you know, like a 1-1 ratio overall, or a little bit better. Because of the slow-paced nature of the game, stuff like that, it means that, I don't know, I rarely have like a really exciting round where I get like 4 or 5 kills in a single round. And stuff like that, that you really want sort of this more fast-paced, kind of exciting gameplay for videos. But what I might do is, I've got a friend of mine who plays Counter-Strike more consistently, successfully than I do. That's how I would put it. And what I might actually do is, when we're playing together, hop out and spectate him for a few rounds and comment on his gameplay, which allows me to do a live commentary where I'm not actually playing, so I can get that sort of live commentary energy and also have a decent gameplay probably, because I won't be the one playing. And also, just probably better gameplay than what I could put out there in a sort of reasonable kind of pace. Because, I mean, I occasionally get really exciting matches in CS, but it is not terribly common, and so to just be kind of a... Oh, it's a nice spray. Would just be kind of a pain. So that was one thing I wanted to mention. I might be doing for this game in particular. You also notice, sorry about the video quality in the last video. It should be vastly improved here. This should actually be looking quite good in theory. In theory. Oh, hey, robots. Oh God. Oh God. The other thing I wanted to talk about, aside from that, is I wanted to talk a little bit more about the game, and why this game is so good, as I just accidentally bought night vision goggles. Why this game is so good as a competitive title, in comparison to most other shooters. Okay, I'm actually going to wear my night vision goggles because I happen to fucking buy them. I actually kind of like night vision in this game. It increases the contrast a bit. I find it actually a little bit easier to spot people when you're wearing night vision, even on maps that are not at night. It's kind of weird, but there you go. I didn't mean to buy it, but since I have it, I'll wear it. So one of the reasons this game is... I mean, I talked a little bit before about how, because of the way the game is designed, it's uncommon for a bad player to kill a player that's a lot better than them, whereas in other games it often is. I talked a little bit about that in one of my BF3 videos, strangely enough, but I'm not going to repeat that here. Maybe if there's some questions about it or something, I can talk about that more in a different video, or, you know, I always, you know, answer comments on my videos. The other thing I want to talk about was map design in Counter-Strike is a big deal. In Battlefield 3, right, you got these giant, wide-open sort of environments that are basically just designed to reflect, like, real Battlefield environment kind of things. And that's great for a large-scale game like Battlefield. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and those maps can be interesting. And, I mean, they present, you know, exciting situations in a lot of cases. But I can't believe I didn't hit that fucking guy in the back of the head. 55 damage in 2 hits. Dat failing! And then his buddy friend shot me. But I do play really badly when I'm recording commentary, don't I? It's embarrassing. But the maps in this game are sort of these more tightly controlled arenas. So in a game like Battlefield, there's not... I mean, map balance is important, but there's not a phenomenal amount of emphasis put on it. You sort of just design realistic environments, and things end up working out fairly well, generally speaking. If there's problems with map balance, obviously, you know, DICE is pretty good at that. And they do see those issues, particularly in Rush, it can be sort of a big deal. I guess it's not fair to say map balance is less important in Battlefield 3, actually. But these sort of tighter arena maps, like there's only, okay, so you may have noticed there's basically only two ways I can go at the start of this map. I can go right, which is the way I've gone this time, or I can go left, which I'll go next time to illustrate that path. I mean, there's other more specific routes you can take, but there's basically two paths. And it's kind of this sort of tight design of all these hallways, and all the maps in Counter-Strike, well, most of the maps in Counter-Strike are like this. They're these sort of tight, very tightly designed, heavily sort of balanced arenas that, I don't know, it's a little bit hard to describe at the moment. Oh, good, actually managing to achieve victory, and this gives me a moment to collect my thoughts a little bit more, and then say what I'm trying to say more eloquently than I have been up until this point, quite not so eloquently saying it. I guess the main thing is these maps are... they're sort of designed for this kind of tight team play, competition kind of atmosphere. This is really an arena shooter. You have to keep that in mind. In the sort of old sense, it's got much more realistic gameplay. I mean, it's not a hugely realistic title. It's got much more realistic gameplay than a game like Quake 3, but it's still a team-based arena shooter in the same sense. And that is... I don't know, maybe it doesn't necessarily make it more competitive. Maybe that's not really the key here. But, it's definitely nice. Not actually managing... Oh, God! Okay. I hate this fucking gun. Yeah. Much better. This is actually one of my... This is the counter-terrorist starting handgun, and it's actually one of my favorite pistols in the game. You can get, of course, Deagle is very popular, but I do quite like this. This will serve me well. Yeah, so that kind of failed. I figured out in my head what I was going to say, and then, you know, sitting down to record, forgetting things is always... Well, forgetting exactly what you laid out, but getting sort of the gist of it is often the case, especially when you're trying to do a live commentary, you're trying to play at the same time. So, sorry about that, but I think you guys get the general idea. And, you know, I try not to split that shit because, I don't know, just maximally badass and not even giving a fuck or something. Oh, God, big dick, you couldn't walk there. Fucking headshot things. No, I'm sorry, Father Oblivion. Ow! Get out of my way, teammate! Something that happens a lot in this game that is very rage-worthy is getting blocked by teammates, and also, I totally just blinded that friendly dude. Ah, he's probably alright, actually. He's pretty far away. Okay, there's gonna be a dude camping in here. No? Oh, God! Maybe? Where? What is going on? Oh, hey, bro. Oh, you're on my team. Okay! Cool. That was the MVP for most kills. Yay! So I'll probably just play one more round. I think I sort of said what I set out to say. Basically, more tightly designed arena sort of maps. I guess more sort of tight equipment selection is worth noting as well. There's not a huge number of weapons in this game, which actually makes it a lot easier for it to be balanced. I mean, you've got the additional factor of that money sort of controlling the frequency of more powerful guns, and that was a massive fucking fail on my part. Wow, apparently I didn't hit that guy a single time. I'm pretty pro. Yeah, I guess the point I wanted to really make is, I feel like this should be a good game to watch because it's so tight. It's got all these sort of competitive elements, and I mean, in this game, for example, it makes a lot of sense to talk about map strategies, positioning, and stuff like that. That's a little bit harder to talk about in a game with maps as open as Battlefield 3. That was one I wanted to talk about. That was actually it. Was in this game, you know, it makes sense to talk about. Yeah, so this is the path I take through the map, and this is why, and shouldn't have gone that way that time because of this, and so on and so forth. Whereas with games with much more open maps, it becomes a bit harder. I mean, honestly, it's one of the things that's kind of good about Call of Duty when the maps aren't poorly designed, which they often are, is it's got the same sort of tight map design where you can really learning the maps and sort of where people will go and where you should go becomes a really important part of the game. And I think that makes it good to commentate over games like that. Call of Duty has a bunch of other problems that I'm not going to get into because I don't want to start that whole fucking chestnut up again. But you get the idea. And however, my gameplay is, I'm 100% aware, not actually super stupendously, excitingly good. So, there's a fairly solid chance you're actually going to see me commentating on other people's gameplay in this game, which is something I'm actually really looking forward to do, because it lets me sort of really break down other people's play for once. I mean, I occasionally my own play and try to sort of break it down and talk about what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. But it's hard to have sort of an objective outlook on your own play. I mean, it's really difficult, because even if you're not live commentating like I am right now, you are aware that, you know, you are the one playing this game, so that can often either make you go easy on yourself or go hard on yourself, depending on, you know, whether you're having a good day or a bad day. Depending on how much you hate yourself at the time and think you're terrible at everything. You have a tendency to be influenced by that. But if I'm sort of commentating on somebody else, and also notably somebody who's distinctly more proficient in this particular game anyway than I am, I think that'd be just a really good thing to do, and it'd probably honestly help me learn the game better, because I've noticed this is a trend with me with games in general, and like I used to play sports in real life, and just any kind of game-like entity. I tend to be really good at the theory side of things. Like, I understand very well, you know, the strategy, the tactics, how the game works, and all that kind of stuff. But my execution tends to be a bit dicey. I mean, I do pretty well in Battlefield 3, but come on, let's face it, Battlefield 3 is pretty easy when you compare it to something like this. And so, yeah, I just think it would be good to look at, you know, some better players and talk about their gameplay, and, you know, in doing so, maybe actually improve my own from actually, you know, carefully examining what more successful dudes are doing. There's some of it that's not going to be helped by that. Like in Counter-Strike, your aim is very, very important compared to a lot of other FPSs. Holy shit. And that's not going to be improved from watching other people play. But you can very much so improve your strategy and tactics. Anyway, I think that about covers everything I wanted to talk about for this video, and I'm currently dead. So, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think of the stuff I said in this video. And until next time, Troubletcat out.